Greetings again, everyone. Bringing you another personal growth and development message today. And this message is actually a two-part message. And I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I suggest you look up Dr. Joe on YouTube or go to his website, as this guy is just awesome. Highly recommend Dr. Joe Dispenza. But today is part one of part two. And we're going to be talking about the think box and the play box. Today we're going to cover the think box. Now, I was almost a professional bowler at one time. I was actually considering professional bowling as a career until my knees started going bad. But here's what I learned about bowling in particular, about everything, and it spills over into everything that you do. Now, bowling is a very competitive sport, and every time I stepped up onto the lane, you see, I wasn't competing against other people in my group, but it's me versus myself. And to me, the real game of bowling, and I think in all sports, is actually the inner game. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, when I bowl in a league or in a tournament, I play in two different boxes, my think box and my play box. So let's cover the think box. The think box is where I actually prepare for the game of bowling. And this is when I grab the ball from the rack and I start playing in my mind exactly where I want my shot to go, how much hook I want, read the lanes. Because of previous balls that I've thrown, I know what kind of trajectory I want, whether it's an inside track, an outside track, and where I want my break point to be on the lane, what angle I want to hit the 1-3 pocket in. This is all that I am thinking about and visualizing. In other words, my mental rehearsal before I actually throw my shot. I'm seeing all this in my mind, mentally rehearsing me releasing the ball, the trajectory going down the lane and actually into the 1-3 pocket. That's on a strike ball, of course. So then once I see all this in my mind, in fact, Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters in baseball of all time, used to call this his line in the mind. He actually did his mental rehearsal and visualized him hitting the ball before he stepped into the batter's box. So what I do then, after I do my mental rehearsal, is I then step into my play box. That's where I put my feet on the lane itself. Now, in the play box, there's no thought whatsoever because you've done all the work in your mind. You performed your mental rehearsal of priming your brain and body to act ahead of the actual experience of throwing your shot or hitting your shot, whatever your game is, maybe it's golf, and I've assimilated in my mind that required the information into a formula for the outcome that I want to create with the shot that I'm going to take. All of which originated in my think box. Since I no longer need to think, I just then let my body do the rest of the work. Because when you're in your play box, you've already reminded yourself of everything you need to know so that you don't need to analyze, criticize, or rethink anything. All things are already done because you've already made up your mind as to what you are going to do, and the play simply becomes the execution of the mental rehearsal. And if done properly, the thought and action merge into one. your behavior and intention aligns. And if done properly, the thought and action just merge. Now, in this moment, you're so caught up in the act of alignment that you create the experience in your external world that you had originally created in your internal world. This process of the think box versus the play box is the same process that I use when I do my own work in my meditations on how to create the person, the personality, the habits, the behaviors that I want to have in my life. In my think box, moments before I start my meditation, and it could be a seated meditation, a standing, a walking, whatever way you prefer, I review in my mind what I'm doing, why am I doing the work, and what I am going to do during the meditation when I enter into my play box. So I actually do that mental rehearsal before I actually start my meditation. When you understand the why and the what, the how always becomes easier. Now, I also review what I want to bring to a particular session. I might want to refine the breath of pulling the mind out of the body. I might ask, why am I doing the breath? The think box tells me to create more energy in my brain, to release the energy of unwanted emotions that may be stored up in my body, or maybe to create coherent gamma brainwave patterns to activate my pineal gland for the lucid moment, etc. You get the idea there. Then I think about my technique as well as what kind of energy that I am going to use when I do the breath. I might ask myself, what kind of passion or intensity do I want to bring to this session? What do I want to focus my mind on getting better at? Then I think about how I'm going to do it. And I review all of my steps that I don't have to think about when I begin my meditation. When I step into my play box, going into my meditation, I want to be so present and engaged with the process of what I'm doing that the thought and act, again, merge and become one. That's the moment you are in for a new experience. Now, in part 2, I will actually coach you more specifically on how you can do this for yourself so that you can gain greater value and results in your own practice. And as always, wishing you much abundance, prosperity, and success, as well as health, wealth, and happiness. See you in the next video.